All right, what's going on, guys? So back on Tamiami Trail Canal here in the Everglades. I know recently I've had a lot of videos from this area, but I love fishing this area this time of year. Right now it is like mid to late spring. Water levels are low. There's a lot of really aggressive fish in really close to shore in this canal that's right behind me here. So I always like to make the most of, make the most of this time of year. If you fish here in like the summer or the fall, fishing's not that great because the water levels are higher, the fish are more dispersed. So this time of year I always like to come down here several times and try to get into some fish. So let's do that and let's see what happens. Alrighty, so here's what we're going to be fishing. It's the Z-Man larvas, or larva Z, not sure how to pronounce that. It's from their micro finesse collection, 1 3/4 inches long. I've done well with a lot of their lures from their micro finesse collection. I think they're slightly too big for like most panfish that you're going to be catching in most areas, but I especially like to use their lures here. Because one, the fish here are going to be a little bit bigger than they are on like some of the local community lakes up where I live, and also they're very stretchy and very durable, so I can use like one of these lures to catch 20 or 30 fish. And plus some of these fish are a little bit bigger, a little more aggressive, and some other lures are just going to get torn up way easier. But let's just start dropping this around here. We're going to kind of just swim this, jig it, and twitch it back in, and we'll see if we can get into some fish here. Like that. Oh, that was a bite. First cast I had a bite. Looks like it just bit the tail and pulled, didn't actually get its mouth around the hook part, which does happen, but thankfully this lure is very durable, so even if they bite the tail and pull, even though it's super thin and skinny, it doesn't get torn off. So let's make another drop down there, and let's try to get either that guy or something else to bite the whole thing. Oh, got him. That's a bowfin. Oh, and he's off. That was going to be tough to catch anyway. That was a several pound bowfin. All right. Well, let's keep going. Try to catch something here to start the day. Oh, got a little guy. Warmouth. Alrighty, so first fish of the session is a warmouth. This guy fell on the ground. He was tough to get out of. He found like this little rock crevice down there. He was tough to get out. I wish these guys would understand that if they just cooperated, they would get back in the water a whole lot faster. I know that's impossible to get them to understand that, but I can still wish that they did. But yeah, that guy's back after he was a giant pain to deal with. Let's keep going and catch some other stuff. Got him. Mayan cichlid. Alright, so we got our first Mayan cichlid of the session. This one's not too big, but as annoying as that last warmouth was to deal with, all Mayan cichlids are that annoying to deal with. So let's get this guy back. If we catch some small ones, I don't really mind it too much, but I'd rather not catch a big one because I don't want to deal with these guys right now. Got him. That's gonna be a Mayan. Nope. get them on in here. All right, second one of these guys for the session, I believe. This one's also fairly small. Not my favorite, but still not a major pain to handle like this guy would be if he was, I don't know, a couple inches longer. Let's get him back. Let's keep fishing. Oop. Missed him, but I think that was a mine cichlid, so I'm not all that upset about it. Looks like he just bit the tail here, so let's fix that. This lure, it's caught probably over 10 fish and probably had over 20 bites now. And it is still in perfect shape. Let's fix my line here. Almost had a knot there. All right. Oh, and that's another Mayan. Just dropping this down to the bottom. We got a bite while I was fixing my line there. This guy got hooked. All right, so I am not a big fan of the Mayan cichlid to non-Mayan cichlid ratio we've got going on so far here today. So let's get this thing back and let's see if we can catch some more other species and less Mayan cichlids. Come on. Here we go. Got him. What is this? It's going to be a warmouth. Sweet. All right, so I absolutely love the amount of warmouths I've been catching here this year. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say I caught more warmouth out of here this year over the last couple weeks than I've caught during the rest of my life combined everywhere that I've ever fished. Usually those guys are pretty rare, at least in the places I fish. And then the last 3 weeks, I caught a bunch of them out of this canal. Got a little guy. Hey, look at this thing. Oh, it's not a warmouth. All right, cool little catch. All right, so this is going to be our first spotted sunfish of the session. When I first saw this guy, I thought it was going to be a warmouth just because we caught a whole bunch of warmouths, and because even at this size, warmouths still usually have pretty big mouths. This guy, even as adults, they have pretty small mouths, and I am really surprised that he was able to get this entire lure into his mouth. I mean, look how big that is. Look how small that mouth is. But there's our first spotted sunfish of the session. Got him. What is that? I think that's going to be a warmouth. But he got himself down in all these grasses. There we go. That's a big warmouth too. These guys get pretty fat. I've caught a couple the last couple weeks that have been fairly fat. This one's not as fat as some of them, but that might be one of the longer ones I've caught. So solid size fish. Got him. Another warmouth. All right, so another warmouth, slightly smaller than the last one. Right now I'm using my light-powered Avid panfish rod with some 6-pound test, and it's still fun catching these guys, but they're not putting up much of a challenge. I'd love to use like an ultralight or even my extra ultralight for these guys. That would be really fun. But if we ever hooked up with something bigger like a Mayan cichlid or a bowfin, or if they got down in this vegetation, I would have no shot at catching them. So you kind of got to balance what you're using with what you're catching and what you're and where you're fishing, because I would love these guys to put up a little bit more of a fight. But if I do that, I'm going to lose a lot more fish just because I'm going to get broken off and whatnot. But this Avid Panfish is a solid rod. I really like using it for fishing for either like these bigger panfish or in these kind of areas where it's either more snaggy or I can encounter some bigger fish. So really like this rod. If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that over the past couple years, this has been like my go-to panfish rod when I'm fishing in, well, a lot of these types of bodies of water. All right, enough rambling. Let's keep going and try to catch one or two more fish here. Got him. What is this? Is that a Mayan? No, I think that's an Oscar. First I thought it was a dark colored Mayan, but now I'm pretty sure that's going to be an Oscar. Am I right? Yep, this is an Oscar. Alright, so this is a fairly cool catcher. They don't get to catch too many of these guys. They're super slimy, which I hate, but they also have that really cool bullseye on the back there. Like that red on the dark coloration looks really nice. But that's the kind of fish I was talking about after I released my last fish. I'd love to use some lighter gear, but if I ever hook up with an Oscar like that on like an ultralight with some 4-pound test, for example, getting that thing in is going to be almost impossible because it's still really difficult on this light power gear with 6-pound test. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's try to catch maybe one more, and then we'll call it a session. Got him. That's going to be a Mayan. A lot of red and orange in the water I can see there. But yeah, this is a challenge on this rod. If I had an ultralight rod, it'd be near impossible. Let's take a look at this thing. Alright, fairly average size Mayan. I think it's slightly bigger than most of the ones I've caught over the last couple sessions out of this canal here. Solid fight out of this guy. I think that's going to do it. I'll make a few more casts. If we get something cool, I'll show you. If not, let's wrap it up. All right, guys, so that's going to do it. A little bit less than 45 minutes of fishing, but it is hot out here. I had enough fun, so we're calling it quits. Fairly average session here on Tamiami Trail Canal. Lots of Mayan cichlids. The warm outs were cool. I got bites from 2 bowfin, but couldn't catch those. Really impressed with the little Z-Man Larva Z. It's like my 3rd time using this. The first time did not go all that well, but then I used this in my last video as well as in this session, and this is the same soft plastic that I used in the last 2 videos. I caught all the fish that I caught in the last 2 videos on. I don't know how many that is, plus many more bites, and it still looks absolutely perfect. If you compare this to a brand new soft plastic out of the package, you won't be able to tell the difference which one is brand new and which one has had 20 or 30 bites from fish. So really loving the durability of these Z-Man soft plastics as well as their effectiveness. The fish just really like these things. So yeah, awesome little bait, awesome little session. Not a bad way to spend a Sunday afternoon here. So hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys next time.